All right, so I'm in the drive-thru waiting to order this food for my family because I'm visiting them. And someone sent me an email like, why are you always in a rush? Why are you always doing stuff so fast? And I had an auntie say it today at one of the events we were at, and I just started laughing, and I'm thinking to myself, my father died of a massive heart attack in his 40s with a long list of things he wanted to do, see, and go do, and never got to do it. I have friends and family who their spouses dropped dead at 42 and 41, and I had a cousin have a massive stroke at 40, and she was going to go do all this traveling with her teenage kids. Nope, not happening now. She's basically, using a wheelchair and having people drive her around, right? And when people say this stuff, I get it. Value life, value your time, get the rest you need. I'm all about resting, baby. If you could see my schedule today, y'all would laugh. There's a solid 4 hours I'm working really hard. A solid 4. At rest of the day is dibbly-dabbly. Checking in on people, checking on what they're doing. But in general, if I could tell people, you don't live forever. You're not living to 190. You're living to maybe 75, maybe 90 if you can push it. But what makes me try and test all these things, that, at the end of my life, my kids can go, man, my mom did blah, 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 blah. Right? Like, even now when I talk about my parents, they traveled, they lived in other countries. My dad was born in Japan. My uncle was born in Japan. My grandparents lived in Japan for 7 years. Like, all these various things. They served in the military, lots of all this stuff. And you're starting to rattle it off. And what you realize, you're talking to the average Joe or Jane who's never left their hometown, who's never traveled anywhere they want, who's never did it. And they go, well, all you need is love. Money can't buy love, Ericka. Money can't buy time. The stuff they're saying are the same people who drop their kids off in daycare for 10 to 12 hours a day and then tell you they need a break. Break from what? Well, Ericka, a break is when I ain't doing nothing all day. I love the daycare stories where people say they drop their kid off with them and they are just home. They're like, oh, I just needed a break. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people, that's how they really feel. Like, they'll get that break from that kid one way or another, right? But in general, I just tell people, write down all the things you want to see and do. Every time I've listened, and this ain't no knock to men or particular men. There's been a couple men that told me, oh, you can do that next year. You can do it another time. And then what was next year? The pandemic. Couldn't do it, right? Couldn't do several things I wanted to do that year. And then like, oh, there's always time. You can do it later. Anytime I've heard that, it's always from someone who has not traveled where they wanted to go, is not making the money they want to make, is not living a life I would swap with them, it don't have the children or the home or the wife or the anything they want. Oh, you always got time. You can always do it in the future. I don't know. I don't know if this is a coping mechanism. This is something people say to make themselves feel better. It makes them feel like, oh, they got time, whatever. I don't know what it is about that. So, like I was saying, sorry, took a second. For example, we have a schedule for our nephews. Now, we took it a little easy on the older nephew because he was, he was always working with family, working with both grandparents, very productive. Has 70 yards. So he's always got thousands of dollars coming in. He'll do like short runs on, dually trucks and different trucks and hot shot trucking, essentially. We're giving him work, so he can be busy and see what's that life like, on top of, hey, in the fall, you do a few classes. In exchange for less work, nobody's going to be a problem. But he has his lawns. He stacks up all his lawns every other Saturday, right? Like every Saturday, he just sprinkles out the ladies that he does their lawn care for. And so some people are like, oh, he just works too hard. He needs to relax. He needs to party. And I just laugh when I hear some of that stuff. I get it. But he's much more further disciplined and further along financially with probably like $8,000 saved up in, the bank because we forced him to put in like different bank CDs. At 18, then we have some cousins at 19 and 20 who are now like, oh, okay, we're going to go to military because I've just been goofing off for 2 years. Nothing productive, no classes, no nothing, right? And our family's very strict on this routine. And so they let a few kids, oh, let's see if they do this or that. Now they're like, okay, back to everybody go to the military. Except for Jalen, because Jalen's doing this or that, right? I have a younger nephew who's 9. And this summer, for 6 weeks, right now he's got soccer. They got soccer games every Saturday, got practice twice a week. He'll also be doing tennis and swim lessons. And we were telling people that, and they were just like, oh my God, that's just so much. And then when the first week of August starts, he'll go back into tutoring for math and English. Not because he has any problems, because we want him to be prepared as the year starts for the next grade. And I remember somebody just complaining, oh my God, that's too much. Let kids live, let them have fun, let them do a bunch of nothing all day. And literally, we let the kid do, I think, nothing for 2 weeks since school been out or whatever. And he's so bored. He's like, oh, I'm so ready to start tennis and swimming. Already ready, right? The coach is ready. He's ready. Because if you think about the time now, his soccer practices are kind of crazy. They're 2 to 3 hours. Just because the coaches had to smash them into 2 days instead of 3 days, across 3 days. But the swim is on the alternative days. The swim and tennis are on alternate days. So, do the swim in the morning and then tennis later in the afternoons. Now, you're going to say, that kid's going to be whooped. He's going to go to bed early, all that stuff. Yeah, that's what we want, right? And then there's like a 2-3 week window, in July where we do our annual, of course, me and my mother are doing Alaska, but there'll be one where we'll take him probably to Disneyland for like that last, where the kids are so jolly kind of time period. But what's funny is talking to people who are like, oh my God, that's so much. And what's funny is their kids are super undisciplined, overweight, struggling in school, not passing classes, but yet are telling you you're doing too much. Your family's doing too much. They're scheduling this kid too much. He should just be a kid and watch TV all day and veg out and do a bunch of nothing. And we're in a country where if you're a little brown boy, you need to know how to swim. You need to have, more than just, I'm going to do football. We don't even do football. Like our generation of family that did football was before this generation. Right? Every kid after me didn't do football. They did every other sport, tennis and soccer. The generation before that did football. We had several generations of family members go to NC State. That's why our family has a family discount. Any family member that wants to go to NC State has a discount. And that's why I always tell people, like, who are you listening to? Who are you getting advice from? Would you trade lives with these people? I would not. Right? So even this year when I'm hitting the different locations I'm going with a group of ladies who've been so many places. Like, oh yeah, we went here, we went there. I remember talking to this woman, and this woman makes good money. Like, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. She makes good money, and I was showing her pictures of Canada and Hawaii. She was like, oh my God, I've never took off any time to go. And now my kids are all grown. And I'm like, when do you want to go? You and your husband been making all this money all this year. Y'all been buying cars and crap, and like, when do you want to go? And so sometimes you have to let people know. People are letting you know via their actions that that's not that important to them. Like, oh, I've always, my whole life wanted to buy a suit at Sears. Okay, well, Sears is gone now. What are you going to do? Right? You have to be very careful who you're listening to out here. Zapier automates our entire client onboarding process. I get 35 hours back a week. It's like having an extra employee on staff. My name is Ericka Williams, and I'm a YouTube creator and owner of The Classy Climb, an educational and coaching business. Zapier lets me enjoy my everyday life while I run my business. Communication with our new clients is critical for my business. Our clients need to feel supported. Zapier gives me more time to build my business without working 24 hours a day. Here's how. When a new client signs up on our MailChimp landing page, Zapier directs them to Thinkitive to preview our courses. Then Zapier sends the client a JotForm survey so our team can get to know them better, and then invites them to join our Facebook group for more support. This was easy to set up in Zapier, and it's worth it. It's important for me to live the kind of lifestyle that I advocate for my clients. Zapier helps me stay on top of my business and lead by example. Who's accomplishing things? Even when I put out the ebook of the 40 certifications, and I put out 2, part 1 and part 2, I literally went and did about 10 of them in a day. Well, I did. Okay, I'll say about 2-3 days. Let me spread that out, because there was one I got stuck on, had to come back to. But I tell people this because some people will be like, well, are you doing this? Why are you telling this? Why are you teaching this? Do you do this? And I'd be laughing because I'd be wanting to say, yes, I literally do this. I literally get hit up on LinkedIn every day about jobs. I literally get messaged by people like, hey, you still in this industry or that industry? I'm getting inundated daily with opportunities and offers. It's just choices. It's just when you realize, baby, we're going to die one day. I went to go do a hike that I did when I was like fresh in college. And I tried to do that hike. That hike whooped my A. I was like, God almighty. I was like, to the Stairmaster. to the Stairmaster. We're never getting this out of shape again, right? But that's when you don't realize, like, time will keep on ticking. The infinity stone of time. It will keep on ticking. And if you're not serious, if you're out here lollygagging, you will wake up and you will have missed 20 years. Sorry, I got to keep stopping and starting the video. But long and the story short, don't take advice from people you wouldn't trade lives with. Has this person accomplished the goals they're even setting? Right? Now, it's okay to take constructive criticism if somebody's constructed something. If they ain't never built a business, if they ain't never bought a house, if they ain't never gone anywhere, they never left their hometown. You love your grandma, but if your grandma ain't been nowhere, how your grandma telling you how to do stuff and move in society? She can give you general advice. I wouldn't do it if I were you, or I think you should go about it this way or that way. The problem is most people are so free-floating aimlessly that by the time they go, oh no, they done fell in and got married to somebody. They done fell in and got pregnant. They done fell in and something else done happened. They done fell in and, oh Lord, I got babies. I can't leave. I got all this debt. Okay, so now your journey, instead of being like, oh, I'm going to travel and do A, B, and C, is how do we get out of debt? How do we get debt free? And I'm okay with that. Put a timeline on it. Don't blame the kids. Knock it out and get it over with. Right? Like, I see all the time stories of moms like, oh, you know, I was struggling, then I went to school to become a nurse, and my kids saw me do A, B, and C. Well, by the time you do become a nurse, nothing wrong with that, and you start making more money, and your kids are teenagers now, and you're going to want to travel and do all this stuff with teenagers, great. That's exactly the time you should be making more money. By the time they've gotten older and need more resources from you as far as cars, help with college, help with down payments, help with guidance. And then you can talk from a position as a parent who's accomplished something. Okay? I know a lady right now who all her kids went away, went to college, accomplished stuff. She only has a GED. Now, for other reasons too, her behavior, the kids be like, you can't tell me nothing. You barely got the GED. You've been working at an office, you know, as a favor of a friend for 10 years. You can't tell us nothing. One of her kids is an engineer and the other one's an accountant. Thank God they did it. But if you hear their story of why they did it, they grew up watching lack of money, lack of resources, lack of planning, lack of all this stuff. And so they wanted to be in very structured jobs and careers because of their mother, not because she did such a great job. That's the sad part. But ultimately, she can run around and tell people, well, hey, you know, I didn't do a great job, but my daughter's married to an engineer. She got her engineering degree. My sons are accountants. You know, it all worked out in the end kind of conversation. But those kids are so disciplined and so scheduled. They are the 180 degree of this woman. And that's partly why they're like that. Right? Now somebody's going to come back and say, well, Ericka, if you put too much on the kids, you structure them, you're going to burn them out. Hey, kids aren't candles, okay? They have Energizer Bunny level activity. When I was going to high school, and y'all keep telling me these horror stories of old dirty bastards driving up to the school, picking up young girls, that wasn't our existence. Here in military towns, they are watching in the cars like, who's this? Are you related? Why are you picking this person up? Like, we would have principals and resource officers outside the school. And this was a highly regarded school. This was a high quality school. That's the crazy part. But they didn't want it to happen on their watch. Random dudes picking up anybody on their watch. You know what I'm saying? And so, and it's a military town, so put with that what you will. But at the end of the day, it's like, I was in sports, and all the girls that I play with in sports, I would say softball girls, soccer girls, volleyball girls, they were focused on that sport. They weren't 100% entangled in the men folk yet. They were entangled into some of the gossip, I would say, on campus. Gossip, girly fights, makeup tutorials, you know what I mean? Where are we going to go for spring break kind of stuff as a team. But when you don't have anything for your kids, anything planned for them, any structure, you just haphazardly letting them live. And I've told y'all this story a million times. I have a friend, his parents were military, but by the time he was coming around, they were very disciplined on him. By the time his younger brothers came around, his parents would just sit in their room all day. His younger brothers would be like, yeah, we came home, and mom and dad were just in the room all day. They made us dinner, but didn't come out and eat with us. They were just in their room all day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no engagement, no investment. Now, I hate to say it, older brother, successful. Parents were super disciplined with him when they were in the military. Once they got out the military and went back to who they really were as people, his brothers, one went to jail and one can't drive and has dyslexia problems. Stuff that the school told them about when they were younger. The parents could have addressed it, but they were tired. I was just so tired. And life does happen. People get diabetes. People have car accidents. Stuff happens to people. That's why when I'm like, plan your shit and go. You got 2 years, go for it. You got 3 years, go for it. You know, you want to buy that Porsche, you want to buy that coastal deal. Like, figure out your debt plan and be done with it. Right? Like, I know a guy who was just like, hey, I'm about to get in $1 million worth of debt. And we're all like, whoa. Between his company, the inventory, the house he bought, because he didn't buy it with a mortgage because the drama with, you know, creators and mortgages and all this other shit. And between it, when he added up the cars, the vacations, everything, wrote it on a pen piece of paper for 2 years with this lump sum of money he had come into in 2020 and 2021. He was like, I'm about to get $1 million worth of debt. And he already knew it. And so his mind was like, how do I pay that down? How do I keep my thing going and pay that down? He just went ahead and accepted the fact that these are the things I want. As far as he got the boat, he got the house, he got the truck, and he got a 4Runner. But like, he just accepted the debt and was like, this is the number. This is what this costs. If I want to sell it all and get rid of all of it and go, you know, travel the world for 2 years, I can do that too if I need to, right? But a lot of times people have no plan and they just float. So never let people pressure you into thinking you're doing too much, you're going too fast, you're planning too much, because they have nothing planned for their life. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't doing nothing. They don't have nothing planned for their kids. They don't have nothing planned for themselves. But telling you doing too much. Now, I know half of this video is the car rolling and a little bit of noise, and I apologize for it. But, I'm coming from working out and I'm coming from grabbing this food for them. I just had to let you know that. Don't take advice from people who ain't doing shit. You know, there's some good teachers out there that are so just not useful people, right? So I always tell you, if I'm not implementing it, don't listen to me. If you're in the Digital Liberty Warriors or you're in the Inner Circle, or if you're in the Middleman to Millions class, you see what we're actively doing. You see the tests we're taking. You see the certifications. You see all this other stuff. You see the investments we're making in different things. And how do we plan that? What does that look like? What does the year look like? What does the next 6 months look like? What does the year look like? When you can speak in terms that way and know we have X amount of dollars coming in regardless because of how we set up our life and our business, you can talk big shit. But so can y'all. If you have lower debt, again, people get wrapped up in these cars, and I get that. But if you sitting here with 2 paid off cars, you about as free as a lot of people, because you can go kind of, well, I'm going to just go on vacation this month. I'm going to do ABC. I'm going to take off some time from work. Don't tell nobody at work, because we already talked to you in other videos about how them people at work be tripping. But in general, you have a lot of freedom and a lot of choices. So you just have to decide kind of where you want to go and what you want to do. Because the average person doesn't decide anything. The average person is going to sit around and do a bunch of nothing this summer and then complain about why life ain't going the way they want it to go. Trust and believe. They're going to sing a lot of where them fans at, but they ain't going to be singing where that money at. Okay? So listen, this is your girl Ericka, Class Climb Blog. Check out some of the resources we have. Yes, we're on summer break. Yes, we're at the beach, going to Rhode Island, going overseas. We're doing a couple other stuff. But we're also still running our businesses. We're still running our employees. I have a little video where I said if I could open another office, I'd do 10 to 3 with no breaks, no lunch for everybody. Check that video out when it renders. But definitely check out the products and services we put in the community wall and in the links to these videos. They're very helpful, and pretty much all of them have found a way to generate people I bring on the channel money. So this is your girl Ericka, Classic Climb Blog. Have a great day.
This is Brandy Williams of Williams Accounting and Tax Services, located in McDonough, Georgia, WilliamsActTax.com, giving a testimony to Ericka Williams. Just want to thank you for all your encouragement and support. I am out here at a photo shoot for my second flip that we just finished, my first JV, which went very well. Got a book coming, Flipping with Friends, in 45 days. Again, I will rave again and again about that boat party and winery that just changed my life. I met so many people, and I won't name all the names, but you know who you are. Again, I thank you for your support, and there's more to come. 2025 is just getting started. Y'all check out Ericka Williams. Get the game, execute, and keep your documentation. Thank you, y'all. Bye.